I am Omega, and this is Diverse Clarity. It's where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. And of course, I'm here with my man, Mr. John D. What's good, man?
What's happening? How's your week going on so far?
Bro. busy, and a little bit more busy. You know what I'm saying? So it's new life with COVID, man, the new normal and everything we got going on. So what about you?
You know, I just working on everything to improve life. Just thinking about all of my weaknesses and trying to remove them so that I can have great habits for my kids to follow. I really think about this every day.
Like what? I mean, what are you doing though to change up and to I guess modify the habits? Is that
so? I really watch. I don't like to watch anything that I can't learn from.
Okay.
So my time that I utilize in my day, if it's not involved with making me better, it's something I have to do. But all my free time, I constantly think about ways on how I can improve. Like I told you, I still practice Arabic.
How's that going with the Rosetta Stone?
So we'll talk about that. I'm glad I forgot about that.
Did you put it on the phone? Did you?
I think it's on there. I still.
This means you haven't used it then.
Yeah, I haven't because you know what? I meant to. I said that was what I need to discuss with you.
Tell me.
But yeah, I work out now because I realized that. And I changed my diet. So I went back. I went to type A diet. So I eat turkey, chicken, and salmon, just to see if it can take me to a different level. Because I really feel like when I removed wheat from my diet, I went to a different place. And then when I removed meat, I wouldn't say I went to a different place, but I was definitely in a different state of mind that I could appreciate. But this type A diet is supposed to be real strict. Like you can eat turkey, chicken, and salmon, but I can't eat tomatoes, potatoes.
Hey, the language police gonna come and get you. They're gonna be like, the L is silent. That's
you know what's so crazy? Somebody told me that the other day.
They gonna come and get you, bro.
Somebody told me that. It's like, hey, John, please don't pronounce that way again. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Salmon.
Salmon.
They gonna come and get you. I was looking at that though, the diet, and I know in mine. I mean, I don't remember everything, but I know in mine it said I'm O, but it said Omega.
How perfect.
Yeah, come on, right? So, but it said I'm not supposed to have wheat. So it's not like wheat's a big.
Wheat is in everything you eat.
Okay, yeah,
it is.
But is it really? Wait,
all bread that you eat, like unless you specifically.
Who says I eat bread? I mean, is it
pasta? Come on,
I eat a little bit of pasta. I don't really like get. Okay, no, I'm lying.
You eat desserts?
Not really. I used to have a sweet tooth when I was younger, but now I don't know. Like my sweet normally comes in like if I have coffee, tea, hot chocolate. I love my hot drinks.
You put sugar in your.
I don't, but the creamer that I use has sugar in it. So like, but I'm not taking like granule sugar.
Oh,
is that the right word? Did I just use a word? Is that right? Granule. Granule. It just sounds. I use the granule.
You know, I've removed that. I've removed that out of my life.
Really? I cook with brown sugar sometimes, but like not often. I mean, I got a thing in there that in my kitchen that's it's probably just full as it was when I bought it. But like for example, like oatmeal, I'll put like some brown sugar.
See, that's what I'm saying. Oatmeal has wheat in it.
You see, you know what? We don't even need to talk about this. Let's talk about what I did.
If you think about the things, listen, if you ever think about the things that you eat,
right?
Like I really believe you are what you eat now at this point because I've been able to get to this point. It's really difficult for me to go back.
I feel that way about pork.
Pork? Yeah. You know, I'll tell you this. I still cook meat for my family, and I used to make breakfast every day, right? And I still when I'm home, but smelling the bacon, it was like, oh my gosh, like it smells delicious. Like no lie. But that is.
I hope that hurts somebody's ears right now.
But that's enough though. But that's enough for me though. I don't need to taste it or anything. Yeah.
I can't. I don't know. I think I just ate it when I was a kid, just because that's what we do. I mean, I'm from the South. That's it.
That's why you eat wheat too.
So I guess I gotta blame the family. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, because you know what? Look, when you get more information, you're supposed to do better. Yeah. But we're in the age where we make an excuse on why we can eat what we want because we can work out or we have a great looking body. But when you get older, the doctor they don't tell you you need to start working out more. They tell you need to change your diet. And as you get older, your body breaks down, and it breaks down because of the foods that you put in your body. It's not allowing
it's not there to sustain.
Correct.
You. I got you.
So that's why I plan on living to 160 and look like this.
I'm for those of y'all who are just listening and can't see us, I'm just smiling. I mean, hey,
look, that is my goal.
160, bro.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm continuing to find ways.
160.
Oh, because I want to watch the paradigm shift of African Americans saving the world, and I think that's how long it's gonna take.
I mean,
I want to watch it,
bruh. 160,
and I'm gonna look like this. That's the problem. When people think of 160, they think that you need help and all of that. No, I'm going to make it look good. And people are like, oh, I want to look good like that. Yeah, you do. And then they're going to ask me about what I'm doing. So I'm about to just change the bar.
160, bro? Like, okay, why 160? Like, is it a special number? Did you just pull that out? Like,
yeah. I just pulled that out.
Okay. So you be happy with 140 then? Like, that's not a problem.
No, the world will be happy with 140. My goal is 160 because they don't even expect me to get the 140, right?
Okay. I mean, they don't expect us to get to 72.
Well, yeah, my goal.
I mean, like, if you want to be real.
My goals is different.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can die anytime soon because I feel like I'm doing the right things to prevent those things from happening.
Well, I need a checklist of everything that you're doing so that I can start doing the majority of those things so I can feel the same way.
When you love something, you treat it like you love it.
Imagine diverse clarity 2075. Imagine what the episode, like, we'll probably be in space, like, doing episode.
I don't think we're that far.
What?
In space?
What are you talking about? They've been communicating from space, well, ever since.
I know, but I mean, but like, how many people's actually been out there? So you saying like in another 50 years, we'll be doing this?
Yes. You know how the white people want to leave Earth anyway. So it's going to be some avenues set up for us to get out there and like sightsee.
Inshallah.
Yeah. We'll be able to,
I could do that for sure.
Get us some wireless mics.
Hey, we definitely won't have mics if we're in space.
Oh no, it'll be a chip embedded in us. We'll just be talking into our wrist. You know what I'm saying? Yo, thank you for tuning in. So, but nah, for me, man, I really didn't. I mean, you went in, you changing lifestyle. I was more like just trying to find time to like rest and watch. Like, matter of fact, what's the brother's name with Spike Lee? The movie
Nate
Turner?
Yeah,
no,
Nate Parker.
Oh God, I'm thinking. Wow.
Well, he played.
I'm thinking Nat Turner.
He did play him.
It was that. Okay, got it. That's the okay. So Nate Parker and Spike Lee, American Skin.
Yeah, that was a dope movie,
bruh. So I watched that. I watched it at night, before going to bed, and the thoughts that I had in my mind, like. It was, and like normally like movies and TV shows don't really affect me like that. At least not from what I know. Like I'm not watch a suspenseful movie or a scary movie or a thriller and then have nightmares and stuff like that. And people chasing me. Like I'm not that way. But this movie, man, like, I mean, for so many reasons, like it, but anyway, that's what I did. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about it? Hang on a second. Spoiler alert. All right, we might talk about this movie. So if you have not seen American Skin,
that's their fault. They should have already supported it.
It's your fault. It's your fault. So I'm not even going to like hold punches on this. But what did you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the narrative anymore. Well, I never liked the narrative, but I don't like it in this movie.
Okay.
But I know that people need to see it. because it just keeps reminding me of how many we've seen like week after week. Like now they got a movie about it. I'm like, golly, but the piece that I enjoyed is that I got to see the other side talk. And they said some things in there. I'm like, some things that I knew, you knew that they were scared, you know, the police officers, you know, in that position.
Well, let's set it. Let's set it for the people who are listening and you know they don't mind. Like again, I said we're talking about American Skin, and so like potential spoiler alert if you have not seen the movie.
Oh, it's a spoiler alert
all the way. So American Skin, which I love the name by the way. So it starts off. It's about a father and son who get pulled over by the police, and just like you said, man, it's a story that is lived and it's relived and revisited way too much. But father and son are pulled over by the police, and it was we later learned that it was a profile stop, right? Which happens all too often. It's a profile stop, and so he has the father's in the driver's seat. The son, who is 14 years old, I believe, is in the passenger seat. He has a father get out because the insurance on the card that he presented to him isn't valid, and so he's got him up against the car. And the son, being a 14-year-old in this day and age, decides he's going to take out the phone so that he can video it. Thank you. So he's going to video, and the police officer that's on the passenger side of the car is assuming, let's just say, that it is a gun. He realizes that it's not. He's filming him. The son starts to get out of the car, and then there's some commotion around the back, and the son runs, and the police officer shoots him. Police officer claims that he felt that it was he was going after his partner. He felt that his partner's life was in danger, but so he shoots him. And I don't know, man. Like I've been stopped by the police many a times, and it's not something that I've even really talked about publicly. Actually, I have never talked about it publicly. Really, I've just announced, yes, it has happened to me before, but I don't know, like. The narrative, just like you said, and your take on this, like, I mean, from jump, like, I mean, what were you feeling though when you saw it?
You know, I've been pulled over enough times to know that I don't recall ever being pulled over and not feeling like. Now, I'm not gonna say I was worried about my life until in like the last 5 to 7 years,
right? But
I was always uncomfortable getting pulled over by the police, and it wasn't just about a ticket. It was just like what is it now?
Bruh, I'm uncomfortable when they get behind me, no lights on.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just like looking in the rear view, like, oh, wait a minute, what do we? You know, I'm getting over. Like,
you know what's so crazy? Like we're educated, we've well traveled, well versed. Right. It's like, why do we feel that way? And we don't even live that life. Why are we traumatized from this? It just shows you the impact that has happened.
Because of movies like this. Like it is a gift and a curse. It's because of movies like this, because it's been programmed in us. We know that it happens. We see that it happens. We know people that it's happened to. We've been the victims of it. Like it's there. And it's sad to say, but like a lot of the movies and a lot of the TV shows that do come out, they perpetuate this same narrative, this same drama, these same incidents. So this is what we see. Yeah. I believe that if we saw movies all the time where the black person was a superhero, in our mind, like that's what we visualize as a superhero. But instead, we see Mexicans as drug dealers, we see Italians as mobsters, we see black men as thugs and gangsters and in prisons. You know, this type of thing. So it's what's there. It's no wonder why white people are afraid of us. It's no wonder why I would be afraid if that was the only visual that I had.
Without a doubt. You know what's so crazy?
In movies, I'm saying. Just to be clear. Or TV movies, yeah.
People's reality is their perception is their reality. So when they see something so many times.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you. So I was just talking about this. Like our mannerisms. Like black people, like when we look at white people, like I don't get get worried like I'm gonna lose my life unless they have a police uniform on. And when I say that, I'm saying in the retrospect of what we've been seeing, you know what I'm saying? But when I see white people, I don't feel threatened.
Right.
But that's the presentation that they've shown us. Like the presentation of us, like we're a lot more aggressive, but we're not gonna kill. We don't think about killing the police in our head. Like when we get pulled over, we're like, oh, I'm gonna kill them this time.
Well, you got to be fair though, because I'm pretty sure, and this is profiling, but it's not that. Let me just say this: it's not that I feel this way or that this is the way that I'm looking at life. But in the conversation of profiling, I would have to disagree with you when it comes to white people and not feeling that way, because
not feeling like what?
Feeling threatened.
No, I believe they feel threatened.
No. I'm saying about me looking at them. You said you looking at them.
You look at white people and feel threatened for your life? Okay.
Trench coat, bald head.
I mean, that's a specific
Exactly. And they have a specific view of us. A light-skinned brother wearing a suit, maybe not as threatening. A dark-skinned brother wearing a t-shirt and a bandana, they're probably crossing the street, clutching their purse.
Well, I can tell you this. You can see some white motorcycle people, too, and they're going to clutch their purse.
Motorcycle people?
You know the biker gangs?
Okay.
They're going to clutch their purse with them, too.
Okay, but all I'm saying is, like, there are definitely some different labels within where we might feel some kind of way.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I do, too.
Right.
Like if I see, like if I'm walking down the street and in my head, I have a visual of what something looks like could be trouble.
Right.
I'm going to put myself in the best position possible to not get in that trouble.
Right.
So, and you can put it with black people too. Like if attire plays a role, you know what I'm saying? Like the clothes, I wouldn't say hair as much, but clothes definitely. You can tell when people want that type of attention. Like if you got 5 or 6 guys on with long tees and sagging,
but then that's
that's their environment, right?
But then that sounds like we are profiling, right?
Oh no, we do. We profile all over.
But I'm saying it sounds like we are profiling, and we're saying that it's okay. We know it's not okay.
Oh no, I remember. I don't want you,
but I'm just saying I remember seeing kids in school.
See, right? But this is the thing. I'm not comparing myself to a civilian. I'm comparing myself to a police officer. I can profile. They can't.
Right. Okay.
They're supposed to protect us.
Okay.
No, I'm protecting myself.
100%. I'm with you.
Yeah.
100%. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. But when it comes to this, right? So like we said, like, so he was in the car. We talking about his 14-year-old son. Like, I have a son, 17. You have children.
Mm-hmm.
Have 12 and 13? Have you had that talk?
Well, they've always grown up in it. Like since they could remember, we've been in Abu Dhabi and we watched what went on in America. And they have the perspective of why do they treat us like that? So they already are they already aware.
But I mean, like, say for example, the talk of like dealing with the police. Because also I remember in the movie, like there was the point where his son was on the computer. I think this was like the flashback, obviously, right? But his son was on the computer talking to his friend, and he was debating with his friend about the rules and what you can do when the police stop you and what rights you have. And the father got upset because he's telling him, he's like, nah,
don't apply to us.
He's like, we are of a different cloth. We are cut from a whole, and they view us completely differently. Yes, you're right. Those are the rules. You do have the right to do this. You do have the right to record with it. You do have the right to, decline to give, say like your ID or whatever the case is, right? He didn't go that in depth, but just saying, but he's telling them, but because you're black, those rights are not afforded to you. Correct. What I want you to do is I want you to get home. Period. This is the thing. Your job is to get home to me. And if you got to do X, Y, and Z of whatever that police officer has said, that's what I need you to do, because I need you to come home to me. But like, that's what I'm talking about. Like this kind of conversation.
So
like,
the conversation I've had with my kids is similar to what my father had to me. So any adult, like when I was younger, my father was like, you will not disrespect any adult. If they're wrong, you come tell me and I'll handle it. But you don't disrespect any adult. So in my head, that was the only way to function. with my kids, they know not to disrespect any adults, and they know that their parents will not allow them to be disrespected if it's warranted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
we're going to give it to them. Like, we're going to protect them, but they're not allowed to make that decision yet because they haven't seen enough to disrespect any adult. That's the way we teach our kids. So as far as the police officer, they're an adult, except they have on a superhero uniform. That's the way they look at it.
I wouldn't know. Well, they think they got on a superhero
Well,
uniform.
that's what, excuse me, that's what we
Yeah.
we teach our kids, that because that uniform does resemble a lot of superheroes. We just see a lot of the bad ones.
So, okay, so with that, right? So like recognizing where we are in society. So like would you say that having knowledge of the law and thinking that we're equal is more dangerous than not having said knowledge? And
all right, so I love that. You know who's that problem is for? African Americans.
I love this. I ain't even finished the question. You know what I'm talking about. But go ahead. I was trying to form it.
Because, once you get to a certain level of knowledge and you feel like you know how to handle yourself in certain situations,
right?
Like that situation doesn't work unless you know how to adjust in the situation. Like you can be like, yeah, I know my rights, but you're not going to be like, right. What? Like going crazy. I know my right. Like, you know how to handle the situation. You can finesse the officer with the level of education. But if you give somebody like this young man, the one that died,
right?
He didn't have enough info.
Kajari was his name?
It's KJ. So
KJ,
yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. He didn't have enough. He was right, but he didn't have enough information to finesse. Like, he could have been like, "You're absolutely right, officer," but he didn't because he had so much information, but he didn't know how to deliver it and be like, I ain't a threat yet. But he's too young because he got this information. And he was like, "I'm gonna do this."
Is he young or is he just innocent? Because I think
that's what I'm referring to.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
I think he's just looking at it like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean I can't do this? Like, this is the law, and the law applies to all of us because I'm a citizen. So what are you saying? Like, so he's looking at it from that.
Because he's supposed to look at it from that.
Right. And if we had more eyes like that making decisions and holding these positions, I think
Well, that job is really difficult. I don't care what look, check this out. They go outside.
Oh, you mean police?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, their job is difficult, but they get paid to have difficult jobs.
Oh, no. I'll say this.
They get paid to have difficult jobs, or they volunteered for those jobs.
I get it,
As far as I know, the military draft stopped a long time ago. What was it? Vietnam was the last time we had a draft in the U.S. And the police force, I mean, unless we're talking about the slave patrol, nobody got drafted into that.
I know.
So
look, don't make it seem. Look, I'm just. I respect people that will protect me. I'm just saying that that's a hard job. But I'll say this: there's a lot of unqualified people in that profession.
Right.
Agree.
I think it's a lot of people that got beat up when they were younger too. I'm just saying, bro. Like, a little bit of power on their hip. You know what I mean? Being in a position, working in some of the same neighborhoods of some of the same people like the ones that might have bullied them when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those situations where people try to take advantage of it, I think. But one thing I but I'm thinking about the writer. Like, this me in like my creative space, right? And I'm like, Lincoln Jefferson? Really, dude? Like, really?
And what? Really? I didn't even think of it until you just said it.
Really? I'm Lincoln Jefferson. Like, that's his name. But you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just funny, like all the little nuances or whatever, like from the writers or whatever. And it's
crazy that his name was Lincoln Jefferson and they named his son. It was like a black name, ethnic name.
Right.
Like for you just to say it was Lincoln Jefferson, he was like, we're going to get away from that. We're going to name you. You going to look.
Hey, exactly. So,
dang, I didn't even think about that. That was dope, though.
I just thought it was fun. Like when I learned what his name was, and it's like, I did watch it. I watched it twice, bro. Like this movie, like it kind of touched me. It touched me in a good way. But I remember watching it the second time, and you remember the part where the young kid was doing the documentary, and is when he first came to the house, right? And he's sitting there, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions or whatever, and some of them might be hard, some of them might be easy. I don't remember. I'm paraphrasing. Some of them might be easy. They might be all over the place or something like this. You just answer them. Don't worry about it. And he's sitting there. He's looking. He was like, okay, what's that camera there? He's like, oh, that's just the B camera. That's just another shot from another angle. And he's talking about like how many people. He's like, so what's this about? And he's like, it can go to like potentially millions, right? Like if they win this, whatever, like this submission, right? It could go. And it felt like he almost did like a Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like it was kind of like he looked at the camera like, yeah, millions. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew what he was. He knew what he was going to do. You could see him. He was like, "Oh, bet. Okay, they got 2 cameras to get all of. They got the crew. All right, I know who I'm kidnapping. I know who's going to be there. Y'all really going to get your story here." But it was just like watching it the second time. This made me think, like, man, how calculated this was, and you wouldn't have thought that because guess what? While at least I'll speak for myself. While watching it, I was kind of profiling Mr. Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never thought he would have pulled something like that off. You know what I mean? Like, my mind didn't go there. I didn't think when I'm watching this for the first time, like, this is what he's about to do. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I thought he was like a stupid character or anything like that, but I mean, I didn't look at his character thinking like, yo, he plotting. You know, like I honestly thought it was going to be this, I say like Tyler Perry mode, where it's kind of like the same story over and over again. You know what I mean? And I thought it was going to be along those lines. And then when he did what he did, I mean, they was prepped, bro. The van with the vest and the guns and they were ready. But yeah.
Okay, so until you delivered it that way, I didn't look at it that way.
Right.
But you're right. But I didn't look at it that way. Like I thought that he had a plan, but it kind of just worked out. It was like, we're going to do this. And then it was just, what is it called when you just improvise?
Right.
So I didn't look at it as,
bro, because remember he went to the captain's house. The police.
Oh yeah, no, but that's easy. Like I knew that. I'm saying like okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna go get them. Like to have the prisoners to come out and the setup. Like so, to me, I was looking at like, but now it looked like he could have already been thinking about all of that,
bruh, from Jump Street, right? So, that's
but I didn't hear that until you said it.
I wasn't, and that is not something that I was expecting. But speaking of like the captain, right? Like I thought that was something as well, where you have the police force, right? And then they've got a black captain. And those of y'all who don't understand like the structure of a police department, a captain is generally the one that is in charge of that precinct, right? So if I'm getting it right. So you got the person that's in charge of that precinct, that police department, and he's black. But then when he goes to the house after the shit, and it's like black people are always asked to turn the other cheek or be whatever, right? And it's like, y'all caused this. Y'all being the police, you caused this. And so they have the audacity, black man on top of that, to go to the mother's home and ask her, like, yo, this violence in the streets, we got to get this to stop. Can you please get on camera? And it was basically like, can you call the wolves off? But it felt more like can you tell your people to like calm it down? Like tell them that we don't need any more of this. Like that made me mad.
And the police chief was like, or the captain, he was so adamant about it. It wasn't like he had any empathy or anything. It was like, I need you to do this. And even when the cousin was going off, I was like, you sit down. Like, why are you talking to this man like this? And I'm like, so in my head, it was so many different versions of myself was thinking, like, when the adult says that, in my head, like, you gotta just chill out. But I'm like, dude, why are you even in here advocating like this is okay? Like,
right.
It
was a different situation though, man. This wasn't like an uncle coming over or, or aunt coming over or whatever. Like, and, respect your elders type of situation. Like,
I know, but I'm saying just the way I grew up, I was conflicted in the way that I was viewing it.
Me too. But I've never, thankfully, been in that kind of situation. But I can only imagine what the young brother was feeling.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you got to remember, the same way that they look at every black person as the same, as a criminal, as a thug when they're profiling them. Black people are looking at them the same way. He's recognizing the fact that he's a black man, he's a black captain, but he's still wearing that blue uniform.
For sure.
This is what he's seeing.
Exactly.
He's yelling at that uniform. You get what I'm saying? At least that's the way that I took it. Like I felt that he was yelling at the uniform, not necessarily
the man
disrespecting the man in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I find it ultimately disrespectful that, I mean, obviously it's his job, but it's the black man that's asking the black woman who has lost her child to his force and their wrongdoing.
How would you have handled it? Because honestly,
which part?
Well,
which one?
Like, if I'm above him, I want him to do that. Like, I want him to go talk to her. Like, if I'm a white man,
you mean the police chief to?
Yeah, like I want him to be able to go make this right because he's black. She should be able. Like, I'm thinking of the easiest way to convince her. She's not going to be convinced by a white man doing it.
See, my thing would have been like make that take a whole nother turn, and I would have. I mean, I haven't really put thought into it, but my first reaction, my first thought to you asking me that would have been that could have been a whole nother paradigm shift in the movie. Where he's like, nah, we got to make this change from within. And you want to go the easy route and have me go there.
No, that's what you just did.
Huh?
You just went the easy route.
Why is that?
Because you thought we was going to just change the movie right now. We're going to fix this right now.
Let's do it. Let's call him up. We can make it where when you watch the movie, you can click the next, you know what I'm saying? It's movies out there. I saw something on Netflix like that before where you pick like the next.
The different
scene and it changes what's going to happen.
Like that.
Right? Like, I think that could be, because I think that's, I mean, if we're talking about getting a true answer, if we're talking about actually trying to fix the problem, then you force the people who have to make those decisions to try to fix. The change is going to have to come from within. The change is not going to come from a black man doing his job, you know what I'm saying, what his job entails. That the change is not going to come from that in this case, as in he has to go. Yeah. But I mean, specifically him going to ask the mother to go speak on camera and whatever. That's not going to cause a change. That's going to cause exactly what the cousin reacted with. It's going to cause animosity. That's going to cause people wanting to get revenge. That's going to cause the image of the police to stay the same. You see what I'm saying? It's a war. It is blue versus black and brown. It is a war. And until it's no different than when you think about and when you talk about gang wars. You got one of ours, we taking two of yours. You took two of ours, we taking three of yours. So on and so forth. Right? And the killing doesn't stop. And the way that this is that way. Because imagine if the captain would have been killed when he kidnapped him. Now there's gonna be some people on the force that are looking for some people doing wrongdoing in the neighborhood, and they're going to take them out. And then somehow they're not going to find the gun that took them out. The bullet shells are not going to be found on the scene, and it's just going to look like another black person slain. But the people in the streets are going to know. So they're going to catch one of the cops while he getting a hot dog or a donut or something. They're going to drag him to an alley. They're going to beat him. They're going to find a cop dead in the alley. Wash, rinse, repeat. This is what's happening. So by him going to that house, that's not fixing anything. And that could have been why I say a paradigm shift. And that could have started a change on something. But obviously the movie ain't that long. So,
well, I think,
and if y'all can't tell, we liked it.
Yeah, it was dope. Sure. Like I said, I really enjoyed hearing a side from them that I wouldn't normally hear. Like, I like hearing cops say that they were scared because it just shows you that they represent a percentage of people in that job that shouldn't be in it.
But I heard a whole lot from them, bro. This slavery thing is a cop out, and I've had partners of all colors, and we have a black captain. It's impossible for us to be racist. And
I like that. You know why? Because they're ignorant.
Yeah, of course.
But see, I can deal with ignorance. I don't like the idea that you have enough information and you're still making a bad decision. They really feel that way because they don't have enough information to convince them that they're wrong.
Well, they also feel that way because and I'm only speaking about the movie, I'm not directing it at any police department out there, but they also feel that way because they feel that what they were doing is what they were taught.
Yeah.
I never even heard. I want to go and look this up, but I I don't ever remember hearing that a police officer is not taught to de-escalate.
Yeah, that was weird too.
That sounds a little bit odd to me.
Well, I'll tell you this.
We're taught not to de-escalate?
I can almost guarantee that's probably true because he wouldn't have put that in there.
I mean, bruh.
That was tough too to deal with because that just means like you're hoping that the cop is going to chill out at some point. He's not going to overreact.
I mean, I don't know, man, but that got to me when he said that. And yo, what's his name, bro? Like that dude. That he's the one from. You ever seen Sons of Anarchy? Yeah, that's what he was.
Talking about, yeah. You talking about the wild one, firecracker?
Bruh, he played that role a little bit too good.
Well, he plays like that in Sons of Anarchy too.
Yeah, but I felt something from him, bro. Like
he got black in him
veins in his neck was going, and I'm like, yo, this dude.
He's a good actor. He's really good
at being
that character,
bruh. He wasn't really like that in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, you don't look. He was. Remember, he got a little black in him, and he didn't want anybody to find out, so he used to just go ham. I don't
even remember that from the.
Oh yeah,
I just remember the blonde dude from and then the dad, Jax, and then the dad. I mean, I remember him from Sons, but I don't remember.
I remember
his role.
I used to watch that.
I watched it. I binged it.
I didn't know. I watched it. I was like waiting for like the next week for it to come out, type watching it.
Word.
Yeah, man. It was. You know what? It allowed me to see a group of people that I just don't get to see. And I know that's not a good representation of white people, but you understand that white people have struggled similarly as black in their own community. Like poor people are just poor.
Right.
But we're just at the bottom. Just think about it.
But that was something else. I think there might have been, I mean, of course there can be some in movies, but I think there might have been a movie flaw in it. Because if you remember, right, like he was saying like for you to be driving in that neighborhood,
oh yeah,
in that crappy car, it was suspicious. Now I could be wrong, but the way that I took that was, if he's driving in that neighborhood in a air quote crappy car, right, and it looks suspicious, it must have been a nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But earlier on in it, it made it sound like it happened in their neighborhood, which wasn't the nicest neighborhood.
No, I never had the impression that it was always in it, because remember he said you couldn't go faster. They said he was probably going 45 because of the speed bump. Right, ain't no speed bumps in no poor neighborhood.
Huh?
You see speed bumps in poor neighborhoods?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, I don't know any. Yeah. No, maybe in an apartment complex, but not in a neighborhood.
I mean, America's kind of big. I don't know. I've seen. I've definitely seen that.
Well, I was always under the impression because remember in the beginning he said, "No, I'm picking up my son from a friend's house." He's like, "Is there any particular reason you're in this neighborhood?"
Right, and his son is going, and that was another thing. That's one I touch on too. But his son was going to a quote unquote better school.
Correct.
Right. So I'm assuming that friend was living in a somewhat nice neighborhood.
Correct.
Right. So he was picking him up from a nice neighborhood, but the way they talked about it in the movie was like it happened in their neighborhood until it got to the cop talking, saying you driving a crappy car in that kind of neighborhood. Of course, it looks suspicious. Yes, I profiled you, this and this or whatever.
Well, I know. I automatically, like when he got pulled over, two white cops. Yeah, I thought they weren't in, because he was like, any particular reason you're in this neighborhood.
Right.
Like you're not pulling over a black, but you're not pulling.
And that's not their neighborhood. But that's what I'm saying. Earlier in the movie,
early in the movie. Remember, he was like in the very beginning. That's when they started out.
Right. But that because he was in the nicer neighborhood. But I'm saying, earlier when they were speaking, not at the scene of the cops, but when they were speaking about it, they were speaking about it in a way like they were in his neighborhood. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't take it that way.
Because they were talking about like, you always come to our neighborhood doing this. Da, 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 da. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying I'm trying to figure out the I guess the
I'd have to find pieces. It just came when we started talking about it. It just hit me, or whatever. But one thing, another point I wanted to make about it was, and it was something that I kind of felt a little bit, was the fact that he was a veteran for the military. and came home, was not able to get a job. Now, shout out to all the amazing black fathers out there, but to get his son into a decent school, he couldn't find work. And I'm sure he was, of rank in the military, right? He's probably, he's probably a sergeant somewhere in there, one of the sergeant ranks. But not being able to find work, and then deciding he's going to go and do custodial duties at a school just to make sure that his son got into a school where he was going to have
a better opportunity.
Right. Thank you. I'm glad we both say it like that. You know what I'm saying? A better opportunity, because that's exactly what it is. But two highlights to that, right? The fatherhood piece of that. And then the other one is like, bruh, they don't really show that they care about any of us. Forget the color of the skin. But when it comes from being in the military, and the reason I say that this one, touch home with me, is because I fell into that situation. I did my time in the military. I did 13 years and decided that I wanted to get out. And when I got out, or when I was getting out, when I made the decision, our government was in a shutdown, right? So my whole plan was get out and get a job doing the same thing that I did, but as a civilian, still doing it with the government. But because the government was just coming out of a shutdown, by the time I got out, I wasn't able to get a job. So I got out the military because I got tired of going to Iraq, tired of going to Afghanistan, tired of going to Kuwait, tired of fighting their war and various other reasons, right? I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. I'm going to take everything that I've learned, which, it was a great experience for me, but take everything I learned and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it on my own. And then I get out and I can't find work. And what do? End up taking a contract job working in Afghanistan for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I know what that feels like though. And that was a last resort. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to be a part of that. I was getting out because I was tired of fighting that fight.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Amongst other things, but I was tired. I'm done. And I end up right back there.
You know what's crazy when you say that in comparison to what he did to get a better opportunity. Remember that police officer was like, he said to the police officer, so where did your kids go? No, they go to private school.
Yes.
Like, so you don't knock me for trying to increase my chances for my kids to do better. But I can't even prevent them from dying because,
right.
But you say the difference is class and education. So where are we supposed to get the education if I can't even get them to live in this area? And
it's something else that they talked about too. Like that same cop that you're talking about made me think, like when he was talking about the idea of you can't be, how did he put it? I'm sorry, I don't speak ignorant, but he said something like, oh, so you're saying a black man talking to another black man, like that can't be racist? How did he? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he made it seem like that black men can't be racist, like
cannot be racist towards other black men.
No, he said that they couldn't.
That they could not. Right. Yeah. Right.
The black man showed him like,
of course you can.
Programming.
You can be. Like, because he gave an amazing example.
And he was like, you can be married. Probably shoot him twice.
Exactly. He's like, but you can be married to a woman.
Oh, a sexist.
And you could be married to a woman and be a sexist.
Yeah, right? Correct.
So, but that's like the joke that we always hear people say, but like, I'm not racist. I have 2 black friends. Like, really? Like, yeah. If you're counting them, then I think
this, I'll say this though.
Right.
The racist thing is an extreme. Like, I do believe when white people say that they're not racist. A real racist will tell you. Like, I believe that a white person that says they're not a racist and they're actually a racist, then they're not really a racist.
I just think that sometimes people don't even know what the hell a racist is. I think they get it confused with
prejudice.
Exactly.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like I don't.
And I just had this conversation with somebody a couple of days ago. But that's the thing. And me personally, I think it's okay to be prejudiced. I think that there are good prejudices out there. There are prejudices based on things that you like, things that you prefer, things that you want and don't want, or whatever. There is a certain line that gets crossed, though. You know what I'm saying? So, because nobody is going to call you prejudiced if you go play pickup basketball and you pick the tallest black dude if you got first pick. Nobody's going to call you prejudiced. You know what I'm saying? But you are prejudging. People forget, what the actual meaning of it is. And then they conflate that with racism and
Well, racism to me is just actively preventing a group of people from any type of benefits. Period. Like just thinking about how white people are in power, right? That's like so the color thing, I just want to say this. I really believe color is just a distraction because the people that are actually controlling everything don't care about anything. It's just enough of distraction to convince poor white people, at least I ain't black. Period. But the people at the top that's controlling everything,
right?
If their money's not being touched, nothing matters. So they just let us bicker down here as common people.
I think racism is more than that, though, right?
Oh, listen,
because like, I mean, it could also be I'm not going to be friends with you because
no, I didn't say it wasn't real. I just said it's a distraction.
No. But you were saying you think it's more about preventing people. I don't want to take your words and mess them up, but you said racism is more about preventing people or a group of people
from getting the opportunity
from getting the opportunity,
like just equality.
Okay, I guess it's
civility.
I mean, I guess it would be on the conceited route then. Like if somebody said, "Oh, I don't date black men," like, "Oh, so dating you is an opportunity that they might deserve." You know what I'm saying? Like, I from that aspect, okay, I get it, but you get what I'm saying? Like, because when you say opportunity, I think you're thinking more like about business or job or owning land or, So but some people do that even when it comes to like simple relationships. Like, oh, I'm not going to be friends with them. They're from Korea. I'm not going to be friends with them. They from, they from Jamaica.
Well, that's prejudice. You're prejudging them because of what they are. No, racism is preventing them from, like, you don't have to hang with them.
But that's the thing, though. They're doing it differently. They're doing it because of, like, if I say I don't want to be friends with you because you're black, I think that's racism. It's also prejudging. But what I've done is I've taken everybody that's black and said, I don't want to be with you, any of you, because you're black. That's racism because it's solely revolving around the race of that person, right? But if I'm prejudiced, now I think that decision being made is also a prejudice because they may say all black people do this or all black people do that, so I don't want to be friends with you. Now you're prejudiced and racist in the whole package deal. You feel me? So that's the only.
Well, I mean, I stand corrected.
No.
Okay. I understand. I got more information. But I'm just saying that at the end of the day, like, we're all prejudicing to some degree.
Definitely.
But the racism aspect, like, I've probably met a couple of racist people, but I didn't know it.
A couple
that I know of.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I just honestly, I don't care. Because there are people that look like me that don't like me, but they're not actively preventing me from doing what I want to do. There's a system of racism that people participate in that prevents us from getting what we want.
I agree.
And I'll say this. I do understand white people who won't stand up for it, though, because they're then in turn endangering their own whiteness. Like, can you imagine if you like, I don't believe in any of that, but I can't stand up for it because they're going to treat me like y'all. No, I'm not giving that privilege up. Like, I don't believe in it, but I'm not about to give all mine up because, like, so now I'm supposed to be on your side. Like I'm supposed to not get my privileges because I don't believe in this.
Hey, that's a slippery. I mean, I get it. You're right. You're 100% right. But it's
look, check this out. Let's turn into some sexist type stuff.
You know what I say? Then they don't have any morals.
Oh, how about this? Yeah. So you walk outside, you see 4 guys talking crazy to a woman, and one of them just well on her, and you by yourself. Like, you got to make a decision at that point. Like, can I really help this lady, or do I need to go get some help?
I have been in that situation.
Well,
before.
I'm saying, but what? I don't know what you did, and I'm not. And
I can put it out.
But I'm
there.
just saying,
it was a long time ago.
What do you think most people would do though? Like, they're not going to run toward that.
But okay, but no one does that in a position where you're there to help someone. Firefighters don't do that. Rest assured.
What do you mean?
Okay, so if a building is on fire, just for example, right? And, depending on the incident and what's going on and whatnot, if the building is on fire, me as a fire chief or other, if we bring in other people, logistics or engineers or people that did work on, and we can understand that structure is about to collapse, or I can tell that structure is about to collapse, and we've got two people inside, there's a decision to be made on my part.
Sound like they're gonna die.
Bruh, you can, it's life safety.
No, but I understand that. I'm saying.
Right. But I'm saying in the situation that you gave, if you talking 4 dudes outside talking saucy to some woman or about some woman and you by yourself, you jump in, you might die. You got to make a decision. What if you got to make a life safety decision?
What if it's one person then and he just looks like
I've done that. I've done that
but
before.
I'm saying you're still making a conscious. How many people are going to make that conscious? Like, you know what, this is wrong.
I would not be able to sleep at night if that wasn't. I have a cut on my rib cage right now from the edge of a bottle from a situation that it happened in Okinawa, Japan, at the seawall in an area called Chibana.
Was the lady? Was it for a lady?
It was a Japanese lady.
All right. Was her life in danger?
Well, the dude was putting his hands on her.
So her life was in danger. Do you think he would have killed her? Because it seemed like he almost killed you.
Nah.
So you just got a bottle scrape on your body.
I really don't like how you just like lay that out there, because now I gotta tell what my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how the show is over. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Nah, but it was. So, like I said, it was an area called the Seawall, and if you look on the internet, you'll find it's a bunch of graffiti out there. It's a nice spot. People go and park their cars or whatever, sit, listen to music, do whatever, just chill, right? And the dude was, he was drunk, and he was pushing on there and stuff like that. And she I speak Japanese, so he's doing whatever, and she's saying out in Japanese like, somebody help me, right? And so I was with a friend of mine, his name is J Rock, right? He's a Marine, and we see what's going on, and we started to walk down the seawall towards him, and he pushes the girl on the ground. I walk over, he's drunk, right? I walk over and I ask her in Japanese, like, are you okay? And she just looks at me and she was like, who are you? And I said, are you okay? And then she says, make him stop, right? All Japanese. And so then the dude was a white dude. And so then that guy was like, yo, get the F out of here. Yo, he's cursing up a storm or whatever. The white
Japanese.
You might.
Huh? The white dude is the one that was fighting.
He was pushing her. Like, she was getting up trying to go away, and he kept pushing her down, but he was drunk, right? And so when I came up, she was on the ground. She's off to my left. He's right in front of me. There's a car right behind him. And so he's looking, and he's like, y'all get the fuck out of here, get out of here, whatever, like this. And he takes this bottle that he has and he breaks it on the sidewalk. Right?
It's like a movie.
And when he broke it on when he broke it on the sidewalk, he like, whatever, swiped at me. And I kind of, you did, and I ain't gonna pull up my joint on cam, but like, I got a little, right here on the side. He got me, and I hit him one time. He fell. And then the girl gave me her phone. My phone was in my car. The girl gave me her phone. I called the Japanese police. I waited for them to come. We call them the JPs, Japanese police. I waited for them to come. I explained to them in Japanese exactly what happened. She corroborated the story. They took my phone number. It was like, if we need anything, we'll call you. Literally, it was over. Just that quick. So I wouldn't have been able to rest if I went home after seeing a woman being pushed to the ground. Come on, fam. So I tell you, anybody that don't step up in such a situation, yes, you need to look at the scene, right? As in, like my example about the building or whatever, you need to look at the building. If it's going to collapse, we can't send 3 people in to go get you. If 2 people inside, if the building going to collapse, now we lose 5. There's a decision that has to be made. But for a man to watch something like that happen and him not step in and do anything,
I just felt like
he's
maybe
bitch made, bro.
Maybe I should just created a different situation for it not to be so easy for you, because those situations just don't become ideal for you to step in. They could be. Look, I'm telling you. Look, I've seen situations, and you got to like. You have to just pick and choose your poison or something. You look, I tell you this.
Pick your battles. Yeah.
So I've seen situations like this, right? And I always hope that it's gonna be somebody that's gonna say I'm gonna be the one. And I don't want to be the one, because to prevent something bad from happening. Like when I seen that, I've seen men talk to women crazy, and I'm like, golly.
I mean, I'm not walking around the city with, like a.
That's what it seemed like you were, though. That's what it sounded like, you know.
And look, with a big O under my shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not walking around the city looking for that. I happened upon this young lady.
And I'm telling you.
Going through a situation. That's what it was.
It's tough because, yeah, brother. It's tough.
But yo, man, the movie American Skin, I don't even know how we got on this, but the movie American Skin, yo, those of y'all listening, thank you for listening in and watching. If you have not seen American Skin, I recommend you go watch it. And we didn't even
give the end away. So
we didn't give the ending away. Good. And the ending is quite symbolic in my opinion. I don't know how you. It's quite symbolic. So
I was hurt. I was like, that's how we go.
No, don't do that. You don't want to give it.
They don't know because
but you don't. Still.
I was hurt because of the symbolic, the symbolism.
Yeah.
It was perfect, but I just wanted more.
Yeah. I'll leave it. You got something you want to say about the little piece? You got anything you want to say about it?
What little piece?
I'm just saying, you got anything you want to say about it? Like a last word? Because I have a thought in my mind, but I was like, I'll let you go first.
The movie is definitely worth going to see. This is what I hope. I hope that at least Black people get to see the perspective of the officers and have a little more empathy as far as they just don't know and they probably don't need the job. But as far as others, they have to see that if I am tired of hearing this narrative, that means I've seen it too much. And they're the ones that's going to have to be ultimately the ones to change it. Like you said, it's got to break in the system.
It's got to come from within.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll leave everybody with a question. And for me, I just say, as a people, like, what is it that we're going to do differently? Like, you as an individual, what are you going to do differently? And that's it. Like, that's what I think needs to be done, because we can talk all day about, I think that the officer should have done this. I think that the captain should have done that. I think that the father should have done that. The other policeman that shot him could have done, whatever. Fix yourself. What are you going to do to make a difference? And we're going to leave you with that. This has been another episode of Diverse Clarity. Of course, it's your man Omega here with my man, Mr. John.
In the building.
Yes, sir. So this is where we have those thought-provoking conversations about things that matter and some that don't. So thank you all for tuning in. See you next episode.